Welcome to an introduction to Canvas video series. This screencast will focus on part 1, the interface and features. Now this is going to be a brief overview of everything. For more detail about the program and some special features, there is a quick start instructor's guide that can be found on the CDNet under documentation. But again, we're going to give you the features that you need to get up and running as quickly as possible with Canvas, and then as you have time and you want to advance into some more detailed features, there are more things that you can work with. First thing you need to do with Canvas is know how to get into the program. From CDNet, you can actually find a link to Canvas underneath Applications, same place where we find TAC. Now for your students, you would need to instruct them to go to the cdschools.org website, and on the main page under Quick Links you will see a link to Canvas currently at the top of the Quick Links column. I imagine as more and more of us start to use Canvas, you're going to see a more permanent link, much like the Moodle link on the page, but for right now, Canvas link is just over here. So if I click on Canvas, you're going to need to log in. You want to instruct your students to say use your standard school district credentials to log in, because this is tied to our global password. And the parents your parents of your students can actually also create their own account by using their students' login and password. Then they can create an account for themselves. So that's another option for your parents to maintain and monitor what's going on in your classes. So what I'm going to do right now is just log in. And the first thing you will see in Canvas is basically this main body area here in the middle of the program. They basically call this a global stream, and this will give you any notifications and recent activity within your Canvas account. If you have any announcement that you created, your students will see the announcements here. They will see due dates. There is actually a calendar of events that they can move to and look at to see what's due in all of their Canvas classes. All of them will show up in this global stream when they first log in. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is basically go into your list of courses. These courses you do not create. The district has basically populated these for us. We can't change the names of them. This is the way that the sections will come in. The students are already in your classes, and as kids drop change schedules, it will be updated to reflect that. So we really don't have to worry about anything. The district is taking care of that for us. One thing that you do have to concern yourself with is that every section of a class you teach will be an entirely different Canvas site, which means if you create your content and your pages and your quizzes for in this case, Intro to Tech Ed Section 1, you will actually have to import those features into all of your other classes. Now, as of right now, I'm only teaching Section 1, 3, and 5. This is a semester class. Second semester, I will have sections 2, 4, and 6. So I have sections 1, 3, and 5 already created and already filled in. I have not done anything to sections 2, 4, and 6 yet. So what I want to do first is take you to a class that's completed and show you what a Canvas site can look like. So I'll go into my Intro to Tech Ed Section 1 class. And here's what the students see when they log in. This is what we call my front page, my main page. This front page can be a variety of different things. In fact, when you are at your home for your class, you will see a list of options over here on the side. First thing is, will a class be published or unpublished? And you basically have to publish everything in this program in order to be able to see it. When you create an assignment, or you create a quiz, or you create a page, or say a module, you're going to have to actually make sure that that little cloud is checked so that they are all published. If it's unpublished, nobody can see it. So you can choose what your home page will be, and I'm going to show you those features in a little bit later. So this is a sample of a page, a little introduction to the course, and I actually have a syllabus filled out. There's a link here to say visit the syllabus, which the syllabus actually has a link over here on the left-hand side. This is what we call the course navigation. Students can navigate to anything in your class on this left-hand side. For example, if they wanted to see the syllabus, they could click at this link on the main page, or they could just click on syllabus over here, and that will take them to a page that I created with a course description and grading policy and just a basic outline of the course. Okay, we'll go back to the home page. At the very bottom is something that's very important for you, which is a settings tab, which we will talk about here then shortly. They can see your assignments. So right now I have actually a page created for every unit of the class. So if I clicked on Unit 1, Unit 2, we'll go into Unit 2 right now, it will take you to the page that's created for Unit 2 of the class. Now, How you set up your class and lay it out is entirely up to you. I decided that it would be beneficial to put my Unity Central question here at the top because my students are in here a lot, so this is a great place to keep those essential questions posted for the students all the time, especially if you have trouble maintaining wall space in your room or you're sharing the room with a lot of different teachers. It's right here, in the concept essential question. I like to put my PowerPoints up here for the kids to be able to link to and download. And I've been doing a lot more with screencastings, much like what I'm doing right now, where the students can actually view an embedded YouTube video of the lesson right in here. They can also, you can also link in other videos that relate to your class, which is always a nice thing to do. Then again, another concept, another PowerPoint. Here are actual assignments where I've uploaded some documents, some Word documents for them to be able to review. Here's an actual summary assignment that was created here in Canvas where the students will submit their final answers and their final project, and then I could open it up in what they call the speed grader and grade things. I can record my own comments. When I'm grading the students' projects, I can write notes about it and save it, and when the students go back into Canvas, they can actually review all of your comments. And again, we keep going. Here are some quizzes. Some safety quizzes are always, quizzes are nice to create and put them right in your Canvas site, just like we used to do in Moodle. So let's go to a site that is not completed and show you how some of this works and show you some of these features. So I'm going to go in here to my Tech Ed Section 2. And this class is not created. And when a class isn't created, the first thing that will pop up for you is basically this this nice little helpful thing to show you, gee, what would you like to do for your next steps? If you close this, not a problem. It will always open up right here as the course setup checklist. So if I'm on my home page, you'll always have that link over here to the side. Again, right now the course home page has not been set and there's nothing in here. This is exactly how your class will look when you first open it up. So if I go to this course checklist, this setup checklist, this is just giving you some helpful things that maybe you want to try to look at. Importing content, adding course assignments, adding students to your course. Again, we don't have to work with that because the district is doing that for us. You can set your navigation links. Remember we talked about these navigation links on the side already? Well, we can turn certain navigation links on and off. Rather than showing it to you here, I'm going to show it to you under settings in a few moments. You can add course calendar events, and again, as you create an assignment, you have the option of putting dates on every assignment. That will automatically put them into the calendar for you. You can choose a course homepage. We haven't created anything yet, so we can't really choose a course homepage. Teacher's assistants can be added to a course. So there's all kinds of things you can do there. I'm just going to close this up right now because I wanted to take a little time and talk to you about some of the other things. Remember, we already kind of mentioned this global navigation across the top where students can see assignments and grades and a calendar. Right down here below it, we call this the breadcrumb navigation. As you go within something, for example, if I go into settings, now all of a sudden it will show up that I'm in this course, but I'm also in the settings. And again, you'll see more links open up as you go across. It's like you're leaving a trail of breadcrumbs. And you can go back to anything just by clicking on the actual course. I can go all the way back to the home page by clicking on the home here. So again, that's some of the navigation. This section down the right hand side, we call this the sidebar. The sidebar will change with every feature that you're in, with things that you can use with useful tools to make that happen. And the area down here in the middle, this is called your content area. This is where everything of your course will show up. The things that you're probably going to be most concerned with creating right off the bat will be assignments, they will be pages, and there will be quizzes. As you become more familiar with this program, you may begin to set up modules. A module, if I click on this right now, it explains to you what a module is. A module is lets you organize your assignment, pages, and files into smaller sections or units. Modules can be centered around a theme, focused on a specific topic, or even be grouped chronologically. The nice thing about working with a module is you can put everything together in here, and then certain features will not be accessible to the students until they've met a certain criteria. So you can actually kind of make this like a chronological thing where, okay, you can't do part B until part A is finished. I have not done much with modules yet. We will discuss it a little bit later in another video. But for now, just be aware that, again, you're creating assignments, you're creating pages, and you're creating quizzes. Everything else will come along later on as you work through this. So again, we have all this across the top. you have some buttons up here in the upper right hand corner, and if you click on your name or go into settings, this will take you into some personal settings for you and your class. So you could actually put in a picture, something that you want to work with. I wish we had the ability to change our display name, because to display your name for school, you probably would want your professional name. Mr. Chronister would be much better than my first name in there, but the district currently has us locked out of that feature. Maybe someday that might be open, but for now it is not. You have some registered services that you can use within the program. Right now Google Docs is already registered for us, but if you want to be able to use Skype with your students, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Delicious, whatever, you can work with any of these and activate them and register them into the system. We're not going to again work with that for right now. It's really about all that we need to work with on that one. So these are the basic settings. Now what else can we do here? Well, let's go back to home right now. You have some notification settings that you can do here too. Let's go into notifications, and this is basically how you can control, and your students can control, when they receive email messages about certain things. Like, will they receive a message when a file is due, when a due date gets close, or again, right here's one where announcements are going to be displayed as soon as possible, and grading alerts, discussion posts. And discussions are one thing that right now I really don't do much with. Maybe later as I get more into the program, discussions may be interesting to work with. Scheduling appointments. I really did not mess with these. I kept them all by default. It's something that if you want to do some preferential work in here, you can. Files. Now, we'll look at files a little bit later. Files are all those support elements that you add to this program. If you have Word documents, PDF files, pictures that you want to upload into the program, this is where we do that. However, I really haven't used the files feature to load anything into my courses. When I create an assignment, I load the content in at that time. It's a lot easier to maintain it and control it and know that you have everything at that time. But we're not going to really add anything to this right now. Let's just go back here to the home button. So I'm going to go back, and let's just go back into the course again. So section 2. Okay, so we're back here now at the beginning of this course again. It's telling me this course is unpublished. So before students can see it, I'm going to have to click the publish button. Now, some things you can't unpublish after they've been published. Okay, so you just make sure you're ready for prime time before you put stuff in here. One thing you can do is choose a home page. Okay, when you look at my navigation on the side here, so we can choose a home page. What do we want our home page to be? Currently, it is just recent activity dashboard, what you're seeing in here right now, because we don't have any other content in this course yet. Right now, we haven't created any pages. Okay, front page must first be set. Well, what's going to be your front page? Well, it can be whatever you want it to be. And again, I created a page for that. We'll talk about pages in another video. You could have course modules, assignment list, the syllabus show up. So again, I'm just going to cancel out of that. Really, that's about it for basic navigation. We do have some more settings down here at the bottom in your course navigation. Okay, so we'll go into the bottom here in the settings for course navigation, and here you will see some things that you can change. So here is the actual Introduction to Tech Ed course. There are certain things you can edit, some things you can't. If I go into my sections, again, the course section is already set up for me. Even though there's a button here to add new sections, we can't really do anything with that. If we go into navigation, navigation would be your course navigation on the side. What buttons do you want students to be able to see? And as I go through here, I could just grab these and drag them down into this area where it says drag them into the area so the students won't see them. Apps are interesting in this program. There are some apps that are already currently installed, but there are a lot of other apps that are already available that if you install them, then they'll be usable within your web pages, within your course. And as you scroll down the list, you will see some that will mean more to you than other things. I know the science teachers will see some important things there. Math teachers will see some things. Dropbox. One thing that I've been using extensively in my web pages, I'm going to go down here all the way to the bottom to YouTube. And there are two different type of YouTube channels. This is kind of nice because you can actually embed YouTube videos right into your website, and students won't have to go out to YouTube to actually see them. They can see them stream within your video. So if I click that, it's going to say, here's YouTube. Do I want to add the tool to it? Sure, we'll add the tool. and now it added it, shows it in the list here, and it's an external app that we put in. You can actually make some setting changes, but I really have not changed mine. They work great. Okay, so we now have an app. Let's go back to view the App Center, and here's what's actually already installed. Again, the district installed a bunch of them for us already. So Dropbox is a popular one if you want to use Dropbox for assignments. There's a math one here, resources, USA Today, Wikipedia is a popular one. And it looks like YouTube for Schools was already installed in this one. There are actually two different types of YouTube links that you can use to put content into your pages. They display your content differently, and I will explain that when we do pages in another video. Feature options. Okay, again, I have not messed with any of this. This is stuff that's already here and enabled. So, to summarize what we've done here. Oh, also, under settings, you'll see some options over here on the right hand side in your sidebar. You can switch to student view to see exactly how your students are viewing your site. Course statistics to see how many times students are visiting your pages and how the navigation is going. The course calendar. Conclude this course, probably don't want to hit that one. Import content into this course. That's probably a very useful thing. Export content, course content. What you're going to want to do at the end of the year, the district will basically put in all new classes for next year with your new students. It will not automatically roll over your content. So at the end of the year, you will probably want to export your entire course, save it to a disk somewhere, save it to a hard drive, and then at the beginning of the next school year, just import that content into your whole new list of classes, and everything will be set up for you. There's even an ability to change due dates for things, which is always nice. In fact, I'm going to show you how to use the import content right now. For this class, I have no pages. If I go over to the page list, there are no pages here at all. I could hit the plus to create a new web page. You can give it a name, and you can do your content. These tools should look very familiar. They're very similar to most of our other Word applications, and also using school wires to create our school web pages. There are also symbols and then pictures. And when you create a page, you get this really nice content manager over here in the sidebar, which will show you how to use this again in a future lesson here. But you can create your pages. But right now, if I go back to view all pages, I'm just going to save that one. I haven't done anything to it yet. I'll just cancel out of it. So let's say I want to import a page from one of my other classes. For example, from my section 1 that already has completed pages. Well, I'm going to go back into my settings menu down at the bottom of the course navigation. And I'm going to import content into this course. Now, what type of content do you want to bring in? You will see there are a lot of things that you can bring into this program, and you might get excited when you see Moodle. Some other teachers have tried this. They've had limited success bringing Moodle content into this. It's almost to the point where sometimes it might be easier to recreate it. You may try it, but it may not work very well for you. What I'm interested in is copy a Canvas course. I want to bring content from one of my other Canvas courses into this one. So I'll pick Copy Canvas Course. Select a course. I'm going to select my Intro to Tech Ed Section 1. And instead of all content, I could bring everything over, which would be very easy right now. I'm just going to pick the select specific content to show you how this works. And dates can be adjusted, because if it's a new year, it could adjust them to try to make them match up with something from the previous year. We'll hit import, and right here it is, current job, waiting for selection, so I have to select my content. And right now I am only going to bring in my syllabus. Let's see, here's the syllabus. And I'm going to copy over one of my wiki pages, one of my pages that will show up in the sidebar. So we'll open this up, and I'm just going to pick my front page. And that's it. So we'll scroll down to the bottom, hit select content, and it is going to start bringing them over here in a second, or 2, or 3. There we go. Now the content is being loaded into this new page, this new course, and it's complete. So let's see what this looks like. If I go and click on the syllabus button, my syllabus has been imported into this. If I go to my pages, I now have a front page. Now, the nice thing about this is all the images that were associated with this page came in with them too. However, they're dead links. These pages do not exist right now. If I click on, say, Unit 1, it will actually take me to a new page. So it's almost like me creating a new page. It called it Unit 1, and now it's time for me to put content in, or I can import it from the other class. So I'm actually just going to cancel out of that right now. And let's make this be my front page. Let's see what happens when I go to Home. And it didn't take care of it, so I need to choose a home page, because it's actually still showing recent activity. Choose a home page, make my page front page, and I could change to a different page if I wanted to, but I called it front page. We'll use it. Save it, and there we go. So now anytime I go to Home, it's going to show that created page. Now again, my purpose of this lesson was just to show you how to maneuver around in the program a little bit. We haven't. In the next lesson, we'll talk about making assignments and making quizzes. Then we'll talk about making pages and modules and do some other things with this. I know this is a nice, layout for things. It shows where to go for stuff. And that's really about it. So just to kind of summarize all of this, you've got your course navigation on the left-hand side, your sidebar, where it will change depending on the feature you're in. You have a list for assignments, grades, and calendar for your students. All of your courses will be listed, so you can choose which course to go into. Go ahead and say Section 1. Remember that you have some personal settings up here at the top. The majority of the settings for your class are found down here on the lower left corner. And when you go in to set up your class, you can choose how you'd like to do it. And remember, you also have this course setup checklist that you can always go through just to see if you're doing everything the way you need to set it up. And that's about it for this video. I hope it's been useful.